This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on the program for today. I am Fatima Abubakar Oyibo. The headlines. Resident doctors poised for strike as ultimatum to federal government nears deadline. Nepang ends strike as Dangote Group agrees to unionization deal. Also, Edo police vow justice after NSCDC killings intensifies search for abducted expatriate. On the foreign scene, global outcry as Israeli strike on Hamas in Qatar sparks diplomatic tensions. Details of the stories and more to come shortly after the break. Do stay with us. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors is set to convene its National Executive Council meeting today to decide on its next course of action following a 10-day ultimatum issued to the federal government. The association has warned that unless their demands are met, they may initiate a nationwide strike, a move that could further strain Nigeria's already fragile healthcare system. The doctors who form the backbone of medical services in teaching and specialist hospitals across the country are raising concerns over unpaid entitlements and deteriorating working conditions, with hospitals overcrowded and infrastructure crumbling. Experts caution that another strike could severely disrupt public healthcare delivery, leaving many Nigerians with no option but costly private alternatives. In a statement released earlier this month, the association's leadership outlined several grievances. They're calling for the immediate release of the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, the settlement of 5 months' worth of salary arrears linked to the revised consolidated medical salary structure, and the clearance of other outstanding payments. The doctors say these issues have lingered for far too long and must be urgently addressed. Additionally, the association is demanding the payment of last year's accoutrement allowance arrears, timely disbursement of specialist allowances, and the reinstatement of recognition for West African postgraduate medical certificates. As the council meets today, the nation watches closely, hoping for a resolution that averts another disruption in critical healthcare services. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers (NEPENG) has officially suspended its nationwide strike following the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the union and the management of the Dangote Group. The agreement was reached during a conciliation meeting held at the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment in Abuja, marking a significant breakthrough in the long-standing dispute over workers' rights. The Dangote Group has now agreed to allow its willing employees to join the union, a key demand that has fueled the industrial action. According to the signed MOU, the unionization process is set to begin immediately and must be concluded within 2 weeks. Both parties are also by key stakeholders including Sayud Ntata, Managing Director of Dangote Group, representatives from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, and top officials from NEPENG. The Federal Ministry of Labour was also represented by Director Amos Falonikbe, who stood in for the minister. Reacting to the development, NEPENG's General Secretary Afolabi Olawale expressed triumph, stating that the union had achieved its goal and would be calling off the strike immediately. He confirmed that work would resume as a communique granting union recognition had been signed by all parties involved. The Commissioner of Police In Edo State, Mr. Monday Agbonika has pledged swift justice for the perpetrators behind the recent killing of 8 operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC). The tragic incident, which also involved the abduction of a Chinese national, has sparked outrage and heightened security concerns across the region. During a visit to the scene of the attack, Agbonika condemned the violence, describing it as a heinous crime that would not go unpunished. He extended heartfelt condolences to the NSCDC command in Edo and paid tribute to the fallen officers whom he hailed as courageous individuals who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their nation. In a separate engagement with members of the Chinese community at Abua Cement in Okbela, the police chief assured that efforts to rescue the kidnapped expatriates were in full swing. He emphasized that tactical operations had been intensified and that security personnel were actively working to ensure the victim's safe return while preventing further incidents in the area. Agbonika also called for calm among residents and urged them to support law enforcement efforts by providing timely and reliable information. He reiterated that safeguarding lives and property remains the command's top priority and vowed that the attackers will be apprehended and brought to justice without delay. You're still watching news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Still to come, Tinubu orders oversight of digital currencies as Nigeria leads crypto adoption in Africa. Details of this headline and more news content after a quick break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now moving on to business matters, President Bola Tinubu has instructed financial and capital market regulators to closely monitor the growing use of stable coins and digital currencies in Nigeria. Speaking through the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, at the 18th Annual Banking and Finance Conference in Abuja, the President emphasized that the shift away from conventional banking systems presents new challenges that must be addressed proactively. This directive comes as the Senate, through its Committee on Capital Markets, collaborates with the stakeholders in Blockchain Association of Nigeria to craft a comprehensive legal framework for cryptocurrency exchanges. Nigeria's position as the second highest adopter of cryptocurrency globally and the leading country in Africa has intensified calls for a robust regulatory structure to govern blockchain technologies and digital assets. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission has ramped up its oversight of digital currencies following the passage of the Investment and Securities Act 2025. The new legislation officially categorized digital assets as securities, granting regulators broader authority to supervise and guard the evolving crypto landscape. With this development, Nigeria is positioning itself to balance innovation with financial stability in the digital age. On the foreign scene, global outrage is mounting following a deadly Israeli strike targeting Hamas operatives in the Qatar. The attack, which reportedly resulted in multiple casualties, has sparked widespread condemnation from international leaders and human rights organizations, many of whom are calling for restraint and accountability. The incident marks a significant escalation in tensions, with critics warning that such cross-border military actions could destabilize diplomatic relations in the Gulf region. Qatar, now known for hosting political offices of Hamas, has yet to issue a formal response, though regional allies have expressed alarm over the breach of sovereignty. As calls for an independent investigation grow louder, observers say the strike could have far-reaching implications for Middle East peace efforts. The United Nations and several global powers have urged all parties to de-escalate and prioritize dialogue over violence. And for sports news, let's join Abel Sunday.
Good afternoon and welcome to P&B Sport News. I'm Abel Sunday. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are on the brink of missing out on the 2026 FIFA World Cup after a 1-1 draw with South Africa yesterday. An early home goal by William Troost-Ekong put Nigeria behind, but Kevin Bassey equalized with a powerful header. The result leaves the Eagles 6 points behind South Africa with just 2 games to play. To qualify, Nigeria must win both remaining matches, hope South Africa lose theirs, and overturn a tough goal difference deficit. To make matters worse, Victor Osimhen was absent due to a foot injury, while Olayina and Wilfred Ndidi are still battling for fitness. There is still a glimmer of hope, though South Africa could face a 3-point deduction over an alleged illegible player. Nigeria's next games against Lesotho and Benin in October will be do or die. Can the Super Eagles rise to the challenge, or is this the end of the road? That's all for sport. I'm Abel Sunday.
Welcome back. On to the focus of the day. Our focus today is on Nigeria's mounting debt crisis. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has raised alarm over what he described as reckless borrowing under the current administration. According to the Speaker, Nigeria's debt profile has soared to a staggering 149 trillion naira, raising urgent questions about sustainability, accountability, and the future of our economy. As Nigerians grapple with inflation, high cost of living, and dwindling revenues, the concern is clear. Are we mortgaging the nation's future, or is borrowing a necessary evil to keep the economy afloat? Today, we'll explore what this means for the average Nigerian, for future generations, and for the government's economic strategy. Joining us to unpack this crucial issue after the short break is our guest, Professor Khalifa Dikwa, a professor in sociolinguistics and international relations and a socio-political and public policy expert, who will be joining us via our WhatsApp call. Stay with us and don't go anywhere. Earlier, before the break, Professor Dikwa will be joining us via a WhatsApp call, and he will take us through the key issues. He'll be helping us understand the implications of this debt crisis and whether Nigeria has reached a tipping point. Good afternoon, Professor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, too.
So let's get right into it. With this current issue, is the Speaker right to call the borrowing reckless, or is this simply a political posturing?
Listen, the Speaker doesn't have a choice because it is a template by external institutions to enslave the country. And therefore there will be no stoppage to it, even though government does not mention them. They are outside forcefully asking the government to borrow, even if they don't need such money. They borrow it and they share it between the foreign institutions and those inside. As the foot soldiers, they threaten the leaders. And for now, they have taken Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana for a test, so that the others will follow. So the speaker was right to even save the neck of the National Assembly. The National Assembly is the only one that will show to the world that President cannot do it because the National Assembly has said no. So he took the right decision because the President himself knows how external forces, the European, would like to recolonize Nigeria, not because of the population, but because of the resources, and then to take away the human capital of Nigeria. Wherever you go in the world, you meet the same Nigeria performing well, but back at home, the foot soldiers do not allow them to fix the basics such as electricity, the refineries, and in city, whatever they have, like fuel subsidy, they don't have fuel. They buy fuel, but they subsidize it by 90% for their own people. They are dictating the opposite in Africa. Fuel is just like the mineral resources. Whatever riches that you have, your people must enjoy it. The withdrawal of fuel subsidy was wrong. I said it the following day he denied it. I said it over and over, and I said it will never stop. They will ask you to, as soon as you withdraw the subsidy, they will come to dictate to you tax upon tax every fortnight, and it will not. They are just interested in creating crisis, in provoking Nigerians. Yes.
Okay, so I was speaking with some Nigerians this morning while I was coming to work, and many people they were bemoaning this situation. Someone even said that the country might start borrowing from fintech banks like the Paycom and the Money Point fintech banks. So what does a 149 trillion naira debt really mean for the ordinary Nigerian family struggling with rising costs? Because I saw in the car today, I saw Nigerians even calculating the 149 trillion naira amongst each Nigerian, how much in case we were told to pay up these debts, how much in each Nigerian is going to pay. And they are calculating that each household each Nigerian rather might be paying about 100 and something thousand naira, something that the Nigerians have not been seeing. So they were bemoaning and crying about this plight. So what does this 149 trillion naira debt really mean for the ordinary Nigerian family struggling with rising costs?
Listen up. Nigerians will not pay because they steal our own resources to give us peanuts out of it. And that Nigerians are enlightened enough to say no. One day we will not pay the so-called debt, and that it is part of the template to enslave the country, the leadership of the country, but particularly the political class. They couldn't have done this nonsense during the military dictatorship, where politicians are very quick to insult the military as dictators, as they don't know anything. But those who are now elected are playing to the gallery of outsiders, not listening to the people. Eventually, if the members of the National Assembly do not come together to save the neck of the country, they will not be able to stand in their own environment to campaign or to even talk to anybody, because the youth of today are more enlightened, they are digitally enlightened, and they know what happens in the world. It is more of international politics than local politics. Nigeria is the leader of the continent, and it is being taken as a guinea pig to destroy Nigeria first, economically and in terms of security. they have destroyed the image of the police. Now they are planning to destroy the image of the military by creating insurgencies and insecurities in all the 36 states, so that Nigerians will no longer respect the military tomorrow and in the next, and start talking about military and police from Oyibo countries, which is nonsense.
Yes.
When they come, they do one good thing and destroy 9 others. They are thieves in digital way. They are thieves and they cannot survive without the resources of Africa, particularly Nigeria, with its abundant resources. A country like Nigeria needs brave leaders who are not cowardly to lead the country and say enough of this nonsense. Stop harassing me, stop threatening me with International Court of Justice. Let me work for my people. And that is the only way, the only way to go about it. There is no place for surrender or reverse. There is nothing like that. Nigeria has come a long way, has both human capital and natural resources. We have everything in this country, even the geology, geography, and even the environment is so friendly to Nigeria. We don't have anything like seismic environment, like earthquake and others. Nigeria is being blocked from making a reserve of the flowed waters. Rather than keeping those waters for dry season farming, the outsiders are said don't do it. They harass them. The same outsiders are said don't farm enough. You must import from outside. Otherwise, we deal with you. That is how they do. They don't allow African countries and Nigeria in particular to create enough food security. And by the same token, poverty keeps increasing with taxes. And when there is a tax or withdrawal of any subsidy, it has a repercussion in the prices of things, because manufacturers will have to inbuild get their own money inside the thing in order to get it, and eventually the consumers pay more. And today the government is so shameless as to say that we have enough food in the market. What about the money to buy the food with? There's no money. They have killed the value of our Naira. We have never had it so bad when 1 Naira is exchanging for one paper called dollar up to 1,400 plus. It is a shame to say that Nigeria is a leader of the continent. Indeed, the African Union that is now leaders know it very well. Mr. President, when he was in the creeks fighting against the neo-colonization, was saying those things, and now he's doing the opposite. Is it not a shame that even the Congress people of the National Assembly should remind him of those things that he was accusing the government of those days with? Yes.
Okay. So, moving from what you said now, at what point does debt become unsustainable? Are we at that point? Are we at that point yet, or we're still moving there? What point does a debt become unsustainable?
Unsustainable when it is not transparent, and then they will take the money from the source with throat-cutting interest rate. The way the central bank is saying you can have a loan, but you pay back at 26. Which kind of nonsense it is? European and American, whatever the loan they give, it is about 1% for service only, not 26%. Which kind of company or manufacturer will make profit out of 26%? Everything being dictated to Nigeria is about destruction of the economy, destruction of the sense of patriotism, hatred, poverty, and frustration of the youth becoming hopeless about what is happening to their own country. So the debt will keep increasing. They will, is it not between when President said we had enough revenue, within the same 3 days, he was applying for another loan. That to show you that this is being dictated from outside, and that Nigeria do not have to pay taxes of certain things. Nigeria has enough resources to give free energy, free fuel subsidy by 95%, and fix its own refineries, and so on. But the foot soldiers are there to sabotage, to bribe everybody, not to allow it. Otherwise, how many decades now? Simple refineries that they have not been able to fix them for this. And simple electricity, a country like Egypt with 100 million population are now providing more energy to their own. Why? What is wrong with the sub-Saharan African? That we cannot come together and say enough of this nonsense. We have our own waters. We can generate electricity from different sources, including nuclear. Now we are talking about what we are waiting for Egypt to construct a railway from Egypt up to Chad to get to the sea, to the Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. We are waiting for outsiders to do it. At what cost? Do you know? 1,700 kilometers on what? Less than $1 billion. And here we have in Nigeria 700 kilometers is being fixed for $13 billion. What a shame. What a shame. I'm very ashamed of being a Nigerian in the eyes of the world and say I am intellectual. I'm a professor, yet my own knowledge cannot be useful. They are laughing at us and telling us and making professors beggars with peanuts below the payment of African countries. Uganda and other countries are paying higher than Nigeria, which means if you don't agree, go into Japa, go away. That is what they are dictating. And the recent one, is it money? Money is not above everything. Humanity is number one. Why are you telling Nigerians to pay 200,000 for mere passport, which is their own property within a very short time? And the argument was that is to discourage them from going. What kind of argument that does not hold water? The government should stop telling lies to the people, to stop deceiving people. Nigerians are smart people. They are intellectually sound and savvy. Enough of this. And therefore the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, and everyone else should stand up and say Nigeria first. They can protect, they can shield Mr. President from the harassment and threat from outside, and then threaten and say if this thing doesn't stop, we'll go into our constitutional duty and do what is needful. They understand the language. Yes.
Okay, Professor, I can feel your pain and your passion as you are speaking. I can actually feel goosebumps all over my body as you are speaking, because I know you're speaking from a place of sympathy, a place of empathy, a place of passion for humanity, and I'm really grateful for having this conversation with you. Lastly, quickly before we go, because we are running out of time already, is this borrowing unavoidable? And if borrowing is unavoidable, what safeguards should be in place to ensure transparency and long-term benefits?
It is avoidable if and only if Mr. President will cooperate with the National Assembly to say enough of these loans, that we cannot make it transparent, because they are sharing the loans between the leaders and those who are offering the loans outside there. All this money, they go into their own pockets, and therefore the only way out is to remove the checkmating. The thing is so painful. The checkmating is by the National Assembly to say enough of this, we do not agree. That is the only way to go about it. Otherwise, tomorrow they will bring in another tax regime and say even the oxygen that we breathe, we must pay, and even the sun, the sun or even the moonlight, we must pay for it. That is how shameless they are.
Thank you so much, Professor Khalifa Dikwa. He is a professor in social linguistics and international relations. I'm so grateful to have you on this program. Thank you so much for speaking so passionately and also for speaking on behalf of so many Nigerians who want to voice their thoughts on this matter but haven't, found a platform for it. I believe you've spoken the minds of many Nigerians, and we are grateful for having you on this program today. Thank you so much, Professor Khalifa Dikwa.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I will be 66 in 3 days, so I have paid my dues.
Thank you.
I have nothing to hide from the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And that wraps up today's program. But before we go, the headlines again. Resident doctors poised for strike as ultimatum to federal government nears deadline. Nupeng ends strike as Dangote Group agrees to unionization deal. Edo police vow justice after NSCDC killings intensify search for abducted expatriate. On the foreign scene, we talked about global outcry as Israeli strike on Hamas in Qatar sparks diplomatic tensions. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business Television on YouTube and Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram at P&B.TV.English and TikTok at P&B.TV.English. Remember to subscribe and stay informed. And from me, Fatima Abubakar Oyibo, it's bye for now.